Hey guys, last week we were talking about this whole idea of changing 8 behaviors to achieve permanent fat loss. And I was telling you about my personal goal where I wanted to take off 3 inches that I put on after having this big neck and shoulder injury. So today it's time to start talking about one of those 8 major behaviors and what sits behind these behaviors. So when you're starting your fat loss journey or continuing your fat loss journey, maybe you've gotten stuck. You have to make a decision that you're going to commit to doing something, and then you've got to set up your goal. And so my goal is 3 inches, right? But then you have to allow yourself to be accountable, right? This is a major pillar of fitness success. So you've got to train, you've got to do all of your fitness activities. You need to eat better, you got to have a better diet, and you have to be able to be held accountable. So what are a couple of ways that we can hold ourselves accountable? First of all, you can take your initial measurements. A lot of people really want to know what they weigh, they don't want to look at the scale. It's not encouraging you to step on the scale every day and you don't see any movement in place. Completely understand that. So one of the things we focus on here at Fit Health is using a tape measure. All right, so my tape measure can be exactly equal to your tape measure, whereas the scale we have here at the gym may weigh 3 pounds, 4 pounds, 5 pounds different from your scale at home or from the scale that you use at your doctor's office. And so you step between these different scales and it looks like you're losing and gaining weight all over the place. So if you do use a scale, you want to use the same scale, and we recommend in the morning, get up, go to the bathroom, step on the scale. That's going to be the most consistent weight that you're going to have. So if you've lost a pound over the week, it may show up there. But using a tape measure, you can put it around your chest, you can put it around your gut, your hips, thighs, other places that you want to track and see if you're losing body fat. A lot of people can do that, but some people are really afraid of the numbers. You just don't want to see the numbers. It's very distressing to look at the numbers. So I have another idea for you. You can use a string. Now, this is kind of a big string, right? This is more of a strap, but this shows up a lot better on camera. And so rather than looking at the actual numbers, you could just take the string and you can wrap it around, right? And you can just measure what it is today. Okay, so let's assume that, just for camera's sake here, that here's the end, this was my initial measurement and I wanted to lose 3 inches. So I mark my measurement today, all right, so my chest is right there or my gut's right there. And then I measured off 3 more inches. And that's how much I would like to lose over the next 8 weeks. Okay, and so once a week, I could take this measurement tool out, it doesn't have any numbers on it, just wrap it around my chest, wrap it around my waist, and see how I'm doing, okay? And so first I have to make the decision to allow myself to be accountable, and then I guess I have to make another decision. Am I gonna hold myself accountable, or am I gonna ask a friend, a coworker to hold me accountable, or perhaps seek somebody like me who's gonna professionally hold you accountable? And sometimes it's easier to get somebody to professionally hold you accountable because we're not family, right? You can't yell at me. You're gonna feel really weird yelling at me, but you might not feel weird yelling at your wife or your husband or your mom or your dad, something like that. Okay, so first we're gonna get comfortable being measured or allowing somebody else to measure us just so we can see where we are. We set our goal, we know where we wanna go. Once a week, every other week, you can check yourself along the way and see if the changes you're making to your diet, to your exercise plan, are taking you towards your goal, or if it's not working, you need to try to do something else. Okay, so now let's talk about a major behavioral change you can make around food as you're trying to achieve permanent fat loss. This is a paper plate about the size of maybe a salad plate. You know, a regular dinner plate is a bit bigger. And when you go out to eat, they may serve you on a platter this size, right? Wow, it's 4 times the size of my head, right? Now let's compare this platter, and it may not be quite that large at most restaurants, but some of them it really is. And you put an 8.5-inch plate on there, and that platter there is 4 times the size. And here's an interesting aspect about going out to eat. Let's say that the platter they're serving food is only twice the size of that. You may eat that entire platter and still be slightly hungry because you're used to finishing whatever is on your plate. Right? So let's pretend we're eating at home though, and we have full control over the environment that we're eating in. So you can either eat off of something like a salad plate, or a lot of my clients over the years have found it's really easy for them, systematically easy for them, if they use paper plates. And these are the 8.5-inch plates. So that means inside you've got about 7.5 inches of food space there. And what's the behavioral change? Instead of eating on a larger plate, you're going to eat on a smaller plate. Okay? And what does this allow you to do? So if you were going to eat healthier vegetation and such, and simple proteins, then I could take a protein about the size of the palm of my hand, and I can just, here's my protein, I've got it marked on there, and I can just put that onto the plate. And then, if I want to eat vegetation, a serving of vegetation, maybe about the size of my fist, so a bunch of broccoli or something, and I can put that onto the plate as well. Let's see if I can get that to show up there, right? And then I can fill the other spot. So the whole here. Boom. 2 big fistful of vegetation, 1 palm full of protein. I got a pretty healthy meal in place, right? Okay, so I know this is a big change for a lot of us because we're used to eating on really large plates. We're used to eating whatever it is that we want to eat at the time when we're hungry. But if we add a little bit of planning in place, we make sure we've got a serving tool, that smaller plate to serve our food on, then if we fill the plate, we know we're eating less than we were before, but we can get plenty of nutritious food onto an 8.5-inch plate. All right, so that's the big behavioral change that we're going to go over this week. We'll have 7 more behavioral changes that you can make over the rest of this 8-week series. And how am I doing so far? Well, yeah, I'm doing pretty well. I started eating on the smaller plates again, and I'm already down a couple of pounds for the week, and I saw like about a 1/2-inch change since Monday on the tape measure. So obviously I was eating a little more than I thought I was eating, and probably eating more of foods that don't agree with my body as much as I thought I was eating. I was just eating more, right? Put it on the plate. I'm not hungrier than I was before, but now I have more of that food under control, and I'm right in line for hitting my 3 inches, hopefully over that 8-week period of time. Now on the exercise side, I'm still hampered somewhat by what the shoulder's allowing me to do, but I'm working around that. Did a lot of mobility work this week, as are all my clients. This is our mobility week of the month. Next week we'll go back to more standardized strength training. So if you have questions and comments, please write them down below, and I'll be sure to get back with those answers, and maybe we'll answer them on camera in one of our future episodes. Okay, maybe we'll extend this out to a 9th week and just do a full question and answer week. All right, take care. See you next week.